Hello and welcome. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now with me, Ankur Mishra and Ashesha. We'll answer all your stock queries in this show. But before we start, Ashesha, the market is comfortably in green now.
Absolutely. Turning out to be a good day for Indian markets, and we are reversing all of those losses that we registered in yesterday's trading session. Nifty is now up nearly 230 points, trading near that 24,900 odd mark. Nifty Bank is also up a whopping 370 points in today's trading session. So turning out to be a good day for Indian markets. All sectoral indices continue to trade with gains. We have Pharma Index, which is up and above in trade today. In fact, Nifty Pharma is up over 2% as we speak, the biggest sectoral gainer. We have Gland Pharma up 3.5% after reporting very strong set of numbers. Torrent Pharma, which is up over 2.5%. Aurobindo Pharma, Cipla, Ajanta Pharma. So all of these pharma stocks are trading with significant amount of gains in today's trading session. On the flip side, we have select IT stocks which are under pressure today. For Nifty IT index, in fact, is up by about 0.1%, but no significant gains are seen in this counter. Real estate sector, the other sectoral index which continues to trade with gains. We have Lodha, which is up nearly 3%, Macrotech Developers, Phoenix Mills, Oberoi Realty, Prestige Estates, all of them gaining anywhere between 1.5 to 3% in trade today. So several stocks in focus, but let's get started. You can keep sending all your stock related queries to us across social media platforms, and we'll get them answered on the show over the course of the next 1 hour. Phone number will flash for you on your screens. You can WhatsApp us all your queries. Write your name, the city you are from, the name of the stock for which you wish to get your stock query answered. You can also mention the quantity, the purchase price, and your time horizon. We have a whole host of experts lining up over the course of the next 1 hour. Hemen Kapadia, who is the technical associate at DR Choksi Finserv, who will be joining us on the technical side. And Shaina Mukaddam, who is an independent analyst, is also joining us on the fundamental side. Thank you so much for taking your time out and joining us here on ET Now. And we already have our viewers who have started sending in their queries. And the first question has come in on delivery. And this question is for a period of 3 years, where Mohit has written to us from Ludhiana. He holds about 300 shares of delivery which were bought at the price of 280 rupees per share. The stock currently trades at 350, and since this is a longer term question, Shahina, let me come to you. What will your view be on delivery? The stock currently trades at 350 and Mohit had bought them at 280 rupees per share.
Yeah, I think at current levels it's a hold because they have come up with decent set of numbers, and I believe being a concept stock, the opportunity is good, so it's a hold at current levels.
Right. On fundamental front, what do you think he should expect?
I think I'm more of a technical person, Ankur. I have a feeling that a support at 340, downside does appear limited, but the quantum of the rise 240 to 370 in a few weeks is a bit disconcerting. So the setup has distinctly improved, and I think after a long time after listing, technically things are looking better off. So as long as it remains about 340, Ankur, it should do well.
Okay, so that's the answer coming in to our query on delivery. The stock, of course, is trading at about 350 odd levels. We have Rahul, who has written to us from Hyderabad, and he has a question on ITC Hotels. Remember, this is a recently listed candidate. It got demerged from ITC, and he wants to understand the future prospects of the company. He purchased about 1130 shares at an average price of 202.2. The stock currently at 204.7. He wants to add 500 more shares to his portfolio. What will, Shahina, your advice be on ITC Hotels?
Yeah, I think ITC Hotels, he's added it at, recently, but even at current levels, I would say if you have a 3-year holding, you can continue to add at any dips. They've got about 13,000 keys, and going forward in the next 5 years, they're talking of doubling this. The numbers also were pretty decent, and they've recently announced that new, project at Andhra Pradesh, which I think could add to their numbers over the next 2 to 3 years. So I think it's a good bet to hold. I personally hold it in my portfolio a bit at lower levels. So I would say any dips you could take to add for a a 3 to 5 year holding.
Okay, so that's the question on ITC Hotels. But let's get Heyman, your view also on this particular stock. What will your view be?
Well, Ashisha, firstly, a small caveat. It's a relatively new listing, so I don't have too much of data to go on, but whatever data I have would suggest that the weekly setup is turn for the better. There's resistance at 218 and 213. Above these levels, a fresh all-time high is in the offing. So I would say it looks promising, but I would agree with what China said. If one were to look at going long, I would wait for a small cool off.
Right. Next query coming in for RVNL. We have been asked about this stock by Aman Saraf, and quantity and buying price is not specified, but we have seen multiple contracts coming in for RVNL recently of totaling around 400 crore. Shahina, how do you see prospects of this stock?
Yeah, their order book position is pretty strong, and I think here also the numbers were pretty decent, and I would say that it is a PSU stock that is likely to do well over the next 3 to 5 years. So here also you can continue to hold if you're invested, and basically at dips you could add, because here also valuations are not cheap, but I would say the opportunity is good.
Enter for 1 to 3 years horizon.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a view of Shahina. But on a technical basis, how do you think this stock will fare in next few quarters, you would say?
Yes, Ankur, I think we've had a prolonged correction, 640 to 300, and it's taken almost 10 months of a decline, Ankur. So I would say worst is almost over. At least a medium-term bottom is in place. To take a view on the longer term, it would take some more time. But as of now, if you have a view of 18 months or more, it's a clear buy. And if it's not a buy, it's a hold. The bigger picture, the longer term outlook remains technically positive on nearly all parameters, Ankur.
Okay, so that's as far as RVNL is concerned. We got a technical as well as fundamental view on this counter. But we have Swati who has written to us, and she is seeking some long-term ideas. And she has mentioned two stocks. One is Hudco and the other is Triveni Turbines. And she's asking if both of them are good buys. Shahina, your view first on both Hudco and Triveni Turbine?
Yeah, I would say Hudco is a preferred bet. Here, the valuations are much more attractive compared to the other housing finance companies. And also in terms of the projects that they have got on hand are quite substantial. It's a public sector unit. So I would say Hudco is something that you could look to add. It's also rebounding actually from the big dips that we had seen over the last 6 months. So I would say that Hudco is something she can add between the two.
Is a buy coming in on fundamentals from Shahina, but which of these would you recommend buying? Hudco, will that be a buy on your list as well, Heyman?
Absolutely, Ashisha. I think very clear long-term technical positives on the chart. And like China said, we've had a decent, if not a good correction. Maybe it takes some more time to consolidate, go up, come down. But the bigger picture remains positive, and it's a long-term view. I think Hudco is a no-brainer. It's a clear buy.
Right. Next query coming in from Ayush. He wants to know about BHEL. How do you see this stock considering the fact that net profit on basis, the stock reported healthy set of numbers over 500 crore net profit this quarter. And in terms of rating, we have seen few of the sell ratings coming in for this stock, but what is your view? How do you see this stock, Shaina, particularly on valuations front, which was a debate?
Yeah, I think in terms of valuations, it is on the expensive side. If I was to choose between BHEL and BEL, though both are now becoming a bit expensive, I would still prefer a BEL given the quality of the opportunity over the next 3 to 5 years. So I would prefer a BEL over a BHEL. BHEL has done very well in the fourth quarter, as you mentioned. But there, I think the issue is that the debt, if you compare it with the other PSU stocks, is pretty high on a comparative basis. So I would prefer BEL over BHEL.
Okay, that's the advice of Shahina. But on a technical basis, how do you assess BHEL, Heyman?
BHEL, Ankur, most of the PSU stocks, whether defense or otherwise, look very promising. All of them have given corrections of various degrees. So I would say if you have a 1.5, 2 year point of view, BHEL is going to 400. So looks good. And though it could take some more time to consolidate because of the steep rise, technical parameters, everything is fine. But yeah, this is a slightly longer term call, Ankur.
Okay, so that's the word coming in on BHEL, and that's the opinion for our viewer. But let's shift focus. Ekam Baria has written to us from Hyderabad. He's holding about 150 shares of Varun Beverages. He purchased these at the price of 625 rupees per share. Varun Beverages is the stock that we are talking about. The stock currently is at 480, so he's making some amount of losses on this holding. He wants to get a suggestion as to whether he should average out on this holding, should book loss, and buy United Breweries. So Varun Beverages versus United Breweries, that's his question. Shahina, what will your view be on this particular query?
See, Varun Beverages, in my view, is a bit on the expensive side. There's opportunity, but between the two, as of now, I would prefer United Breweries. If you see the trade agreement between UK and India is going to be positive for United Breweries because they import a lot of their raw materials, also semi-finished and finished products from UK. So they and trade it out in India. So I think going forward, given the strong balance sheet that they have and also the strong product portfolio, they should do pretty well over the next 1 to 3 years. So I would prefer a United Breweries.
Okay, so United Breweries.
Now with me, Ankur Mishra and Ashesha. We are addressing all your stock queries, and the next query is coming in from Kunal, who's asking question from Visakhapatnam. His question is actually a question of many viewers. Which are the two best defense stocks one should buy? Shahina, can BEL and BML be those two stocks, or you recommend some other stock in the defense sector?
I would say BEL we've already discussed. That would be my preferred bet. And the other defense stock, I would either go with either a Solar Industries or, HAL. HAL, the opportunity is quite big. Order book position is also very strong. The execution, as it improves capacity, as they put up and expand, I think HAL also should do well in terms of the 3 to 5 year holding. Of course, the defense stocks have become expensive, but if you link it to the order book and the potential over the next 5 years, I think one can remain invested and let it be part of your co-portfolio.
Okay, so that's the view on several defense stocks. We have a lot of queries that have come in on defense stocks today. But apart from that, Ajish has written to us from Kerala. He holds about 1,000 shares of Geo Financial, which he bought at 345 rupees per share. Geo Financial currently trades at 275. So considerable amount of losses is what Adesh is making on this particular holding. He hasn't mentioned his time horizon, but Shahina, what will your view be on Geo Financial?
I would say that the stock has given you or is consolidating after the correction, and the numbers were quite okay. You had a revenue up by about 7.8%. Also, if you see valuations at current levels, they have become quite reasonable. So, and of course, the number of product offerings that they have and the promoter group being pretty strong, I would say you could remain invested in Geo Financials, and you could add also at dips.
Next query coming in from Mumbai. Rajiv is asking what should he do in AB Capital. He has 500 stocks at the rate of 210. What should he look out for medium to short term? That's what his question is. Any levels which he should look at?
Yes, Ankur. Firstly, two support levels, 214 and 200. I think these need to be maintained. The next level is 185, but that's far away, not very relevant. If both these levels break, it would be exit. It doesn't look like that. We are in an intermediate uptrend. Upside seems to be on the cards. Resistance levels on the upside, Ankur, are 229, 243. Hold. I have a feeling further upside seem like a distinct possibility, especially as long as it quotes above 214. Ankur.
On Aditya Birla Capital, a short-term view coming in for the viewers' queries that have come through. But Sriram has written to us from Chennai and he has a question on Dixon Technologies. Remember, after reporting its numbers, the numbers were strong, but the stock is down 4.5% today. Over the last 6 months, it has rallied, but if you get today's chart, the stock is down 4.5%. He bought at an average price of 5,015 and the stock currently trades at what, 15,700. So his money has already grown 3 times over the last 4.5 years. He has a long time horizon of more than 3 years. Shahina, what will your view be on Dixon Technology, especially because of the push engineering and electronic manufacturing is getting in India?
Dixon Technologies there, I think they will do pretty well in terms of the opportunity that is there. They also are talking of big orders in coming in the mobile phones. Having said that, I think it's better to pick such stocks only at dips because valuations have actually, in my view, run up a lot. And to a large extent, it factors in the 1 to 2 year opportunity. So if you're a long-term investor and you're not looking to sort of get in and out of the stock, then yes, you could go in for Dixon. But otherwise, I would prefer to buy it at dips.
Right. Another question coming in for RailTel and PFC earnings are due today. Radhakrishnan from Bangalore is asking about these two stocks. What is the view on 1 year horizon if somebody should look at? Shaina?
Yeah, so I think RailTel should do reasonably well given the fact that they have got quite a big order book position. There, the issue is of execution more than the opportunity. So I would say that these stocks, it's better to buy it at corrections and hold it for the medium to longer term.
Okay, so that's the word on RailTel, but we have Mahalakshmi who has written to us from Hyderabad. 30 shares of Hero MotoCorp which were bought at the price of 4,735 and he's making about 10% loss on this particular holding. Heyman, what will your view be on Hero MotoCorp? The stock currently at 4261. He had purchased at 4,735.
Ashesha, firstly a stop loss at 4,100, otherwise it's a hold. 4450, there's a small trading range, a congestion area between 4450, 4500. I believe that can be overcome and that could get overcome in the next month or so. So I would say hold, like I said, stop loss in place. If this 4500 level gets taken out, then we'll come to his cost and maybe 4950. That is the time when he can look to exit for the time being.
Right. Next question coming in on MOIL. The person wants to know regarding long-term view on the stock. Shahina, what will you advise on MOIL?
MOIL, if you're looking at the longer term, yeah, you could look to add, given the fact that the stock has corrected a lot. In terms of opportunity, if you look at the March quarter numbers, they were in line. You had a revenue growth of about 4% plus. So if you're looking at the longer term, yes, you can add, given the sharp correction that we've seen over the last couple of quarters.
What will your advice be on a short-term view on a technical check on MOIL, Heyman? Shubhrata from Kolkata wants to know about the stock.
Good for the past 6 months or so. MOIL has been relatively range bound. Okay, it's a rather large range, but the range is between 280 on the downside and 370 on the upside. So we've neither broken out or we've broken down. Chances of a breakdown seem remote. Chances of a breakout on the upside seem more. So the setup is promising, but and there's a weekly level, Ankur. So till the 370 level doesn't get taken out on the weekly chart, don't expect anything spectacular happening. A close up of 370 means a breakout, and after the close up of 370 needs to hold.
Okay, so that's the word coming in on mining company MOIL. We got a technical and fundamental view on this counter. But let's shift focus to two AC manufacturers, and we have a question that has come in from O. Jayalakshmi from Hyderabad, and she is asking that she wants to invest 1 lakh rupees in Voltas or Blue Star shares, and I'm assuming she has a long-term time horizon, and she wants the best pick from amongst these two. Shahina, what will your view be, Voltas versus Blue Star?
Well, she can hold Voltas. See, basically, from a short-term perspective, it is expensive because if you look at a P, it's about 35 times FY 27 earnings. But at the same time, the monsoons are likely to be pretty good, and we see a demand uptick, of course, in the sector as a whole. But between the two, I would prefer a Voltas.
View on Voltas to be chosen in between Blue Star. But before the technical check, Heyman, I want to know which AC you are using, Voltas, Blue Star, or none of the above.
Okay, Ankur, I'm using O General, I'm using Voltas, and I'm using Hitachi.
But if you have to advise between two, which stock will be, and your level checks, please.
I have a feeling Voltas offers a better risk-reward ratio, Ankur, because we've had a deep correction and is close to medium-term support levels. While Blue Star has had a 5-year up move, Ankur, that's phenomenal. I mean, if the stock goes from 200 to 2400, that's simply amazing. But the next step is a deep time price correction. That's what is happening. So if I were to compare both the stocks, I believe Voltas seems better than Blue Star, Ankur.
Okay, so that's the word coming in between Voltas and Blue Star. We got both the opinions, fundamental as well as technical. But we have a long-term investor, and again we have a question on BEL. Although we addressed BEL already, his second question, KYN Swami, has written to us from Bengaluru, has 1,000 shares of Samvardhana Motherson, which were bought at 165 rupees per share. He's been holding it for more than 2 years, and he is asking whether he should continue holding or shift to some other company. Since he has mentioned time frame of 2 years, Shahina, this question will be for you. Samvardhana Motherson, 165 is his buy price. What will your advice be?
I would say, it is consolidating. So at current levels, it is better to hold. As you know that they have actually, it's gone to there was a bit of iffies because US market does account for about 20% of their revenues. But so to that extent, the caveat is that, anything that changes in terms of tariffs will affect Samvardhana. At the same time, I think after the correction and this consolidation, I would say it is a hold because even on terms of their balance sheet, which was an issue, they are improving their debt. They are bringing it down. We've seen they have reduced their debt quite a bit. If you see, even in the last quarter, debt has come down, and so thereby the interest cost is coming down, which is a positive for their earnings.
I think a lot of queries are coming in for defense stocks per se. We have already asked Shahina, your view, Heyman, if top two picks in the defense sector, which will be your choice?
The first one is HAL, Hindustan Aeronautics, Ankur. Established longer term uptrend, a lot of resilience, looks good. And I think further upside seems like a distinct possibility. And I would also go in for BDL, BEL, they're all good, have run up. I think something like a Cochin shipyard would make a lot of sense. Has given a decent correction now after the move. But the bigger picture seems fine. So HAL and Cochin would be my two picks from the defense sector. Ankur.
So HCL looks like a consensus here. But next query coming in from Sriram from Chennai. He's asking about M&M, and he has purchased stock in November 2024 with an average price of 2274. Should he sell or hold? First, your technical check, Heyman.
The basic first reaction would be a hold, Ankur. Lot of resilience, lot of strength. I mean, looking at the size of the quantum of the move, the correction should have been deeper. That's not happened. The range is between 2400 and 3000 and 3222. About 3222, further upside possible. So long story short, hold.
Right, the company has already made an acquisition in the last quarter, and after that, China, do you think it remains a good bet to stay on?
Yeah, the acquisition of SML Isuzu is a good one because there it increases their market share in even the LCV space. Already with good monsoon, they are expected to do well in tractors and passenger way. They've got a good EV pipeline also. The only issue out here is that in case Tesla is to launch their products, that would increase the competition in the overall space, but that is more of a longer term issue. So I think as of now it is a hold, and opportunity looks good. It seems very well placed in its product portfolio as of now. So it's a hold.
On M&M, competition could increase if Tesla were to enter the Indian market, but for now it's a hold rating coming in on M&M. But let's shift focus to a query that has come in from the IT sector, and we have Priyanka Rao who has written to us from Hyderabad. She wants technical advice for Persistent Systems. She's holding about 110 shares which were bought at 5,992 rupees per share, and at present it is in loss. The stock currently at 5,700. Hemen, what will your view be on Persistent Systems?
I would be slightly cautious, Sashisha, on the fact that we've had a humongous move. We seem to have slipped into a correction. And in this recovery, if it doesn't make a new high, technically doesn't look like that. If it makes a new high, everything is hunky dory. It's all good. But if it doesn't make a new high, makes a lower top and starts cooling off, then we could be walking into a correction of a greater degree from a 12 to 15-month point of view. So as of now, we are in an intermediate uptrend. Everything is fine. We need to take out 5950 for a further upside. If that happens, I think closer to a purchase price or, somewhere at 6,300 is where I would exit for the time being, because the picture is slightly murky. We would need some more time confirmation for how things playing out. And like I said, it walks into a bigger correction. Keeping in mind we've had a 5-year up move, that could be a long time coming, Ashish.
This it's time to take a quick break, but after the break, there's a tough query which is coming in for our experts due to unit. Hemen, first, your checks, please.
Ankur, can I say ladies first and transfer the query to
That is
Shaina?
why I teased it's a tough question. But earnings are due today. I know there is a lot of talk about provisioning, whether or not MFI will also be provisioned. We already know that the company has disclosed about the derivatives portfolio. But China, what can you advise at the current price?
I would say it's better to avoid at current levels. There are issues out here. I think the numbers are going to be pretty dicey. Expecting, of course, a loss with a lot of provision, write-offs, etc. A lot of churn on the top also in terms of management. So I would say it's an avoid as of now. There are better banking stocks available in the space. In fact, you can look at even something like an ICICI Bank in the large cap, Federal Bank in the mid cap. I mean, one of the smaller banks. Also, the largest HDFC Bank. So I think the better banks. Avoid IndusInd Bank as of now.
For someone who has already invested their money in the stock, like last year, as our viewer mentioned about 1200 levels, what should they do? Shaina? Shaina, will you advise that those already invested in IndusInd Bank, they should watch out for earnings and then take a call?
I would say it is better to switch. I mean, there's no need to wait for the earnings because we all know that there's going to be a lot of write-offs and losses I mean, it is likely, of course, that they may report that. So it is better to switch.
So better to switch, advice coming in from Shaina. But Hemen, would you want to give your technical check view as well?
Well, Ankur, since you put a gun to my head, I have no choice. But yeah, on a lighter note, there's resistance at 860. Before that, resistance at 800. The medium-term picture seems to be stabilizing over here, but 750 needs to hold from a weekly closing point of view, Ankur. If 750 holds, I think there are chance of stability returning, and after that, a close of 800 could mean a relief bounce coming in. So as of now, it's I would at the risk of sounding overly optimistic, on the weekly chart, a bottom has been made. And now if 750 doesn't break, I think the bottom stays in place and we can see some sort of a slow and steady recovery.
Okay, so that's the technical and fundamental view coming in on IndusInd Bank. It will be reporting its numbers later today, so all eyes will be on that stock, especially because of the regulatory challenges that the company has been facing. But let's move on then. Deepak from Calicut has written to us and he's currently holding shares of ITC which were bought at 500 rupees per share. He's also planning to invest in Indian hotels. So he's asking for a long-term view on ITC and on Indian hotels, which is IHCL. Shahina, what will your view be on both these counters?
I would say ITC, of course, I've got a preference for ITC over Indian hotels and ITC hotels also over Indian hotels. Both Indian hotels, of course, in terms of valuation versus ITC hotels, it is more expensive. So I would go with an ITC hotels. And in terms of ITC per se, I think FMCG should start doing better. We've seen quite a disappointment in the last 1 odd year for FMCG stocks with the monsoons being good, as well as more money in the pockets of income tax payers in this current year. I think FMCG should start picking up after even fourth quarter numbers were pretty disappointing across the board. So I would say hold ITC, hold it with a medium to longer term view.
All right. Satya from Trichur is asking about IDBI Bank. Whenever we have mentioned IDBI Bank, one news has been associated for past 3 to 4 years has been the divestment. LIC happened. Now there are several suitors which are talked about. Shahina, his investment price is pretty good at rupees 50. What will you advise?
IDBI Bank at any dips, valuation wise, it's not expensive. It's about 1.6 times price to book. We've seen a very good, M&A that has happened recently for Yes Bank. And IDBI Bank, I think, is next in the line. Government is pretty sure that they would look, over a period of time to find a suitor. So I would say IDBI Bank is good for any dips.
So good for buying in the dips. A technical check as well, because IDBI Bank has been focused for retail investors for quite some time now. Do you think it is still attractive at the current level, Hemin?
I'm not sure if it's a fresh buy, Ankur, at this level, but if there is a holding position, I suppose a hold would be in order. Uh, Intermediate uptrend in place, medium term base formation. We are walking into a virtual roadblock at 95. That gets taken out, I think things should start looking even better. And even if I look at the longer term charts, Ankur, things aren't bad. It looks quite promising. So, okay, it's not an exciting stock in the sense it doesn't give a very fast move. It's a slow and steady mover, and I believe it's the high top, high bottom scenario, at least based on the mechanical indicators, would indicate it would continue. So I would say hold. Further upside seems very much possible.
Okay, so that's the word coming in on IDBI Bank. But Pankaj from Haryana has written to us and he has a question on Oil India. He has about 1,000 shares which were bought at 630 rupees per share. Oil India is the stock that we're talking about. 424 is the current market price. He had bought at 630 and he's asking whether he should continue holding or should exit out from these positions. He's asking for a short-term view. Hemin, what will your advice be to Pankaj on this holding of Oil India?
Ashisha, I don't think from a short or even a medium term point of view, his cost price is coming. So it's probably a sell on bounce. Currently, we are getting close to a resistance level around 438, 440. That's where he can exit. It's a very long term view, fine, but since he's clearly specified it's a shorter term view, the sell on bounce.
Right. Next query coming in from Pune. Kiran is asking that 1,000 shares of Jindal Saw has been bought around 350. Wanted to know if she can average at current level or can keep for another 6 months. What will you advise, Shahina, to Kiran?
I would say it is better to not average at current levels. So it is better to wait because even if you saw the numbers were pretty disappointing, the quarter numbers that we saw, and I would say that please avoid it as of now.
Okay, so that's the word on Jindal Saw. We have a whole host of queries that have come in from our viewers. We'll address most of them in the other half of the show. Don't go anywhere. We come up after a short break.
What is your advice, Shaina, on this front?
Well, I would say the fourth quarter numbers were a mixed set of numbers, but Jubilant Foods and even the other QSR stocks are starting to see some bit of buying coming back. You also see inflation coming off, which is why raw material cost may be better, may be lower going forward. I would say you could add Jubilant, but add it at little dips. So not at current levels. I would prefer if you could, we could advise the investor to buy it somewhere close to about maybe a 650 type of level. So then you could look for a decent 15 to 10 to 15% upside over the next 1 year.
What is your advice on a technical check, Hemen? Do you think these are the comfortable levels where he should sell or he should stay on? He's making some money at least.
Not a very clear technical view coming across, Ankur. So I would say hold as of now. It's been range bound for quite some time. Quite some time, I would say 3, 3, 6. This is the ninth month that stock has done nothing. So there is no trending bias. It's sideways in a range. So I would say hold. If things need to improve dramatically from these levels, Ankur, 720 is the first level it needs to take out. And then we would start seeing technical positives. So as of now, it's a hold. It's neither a buy nor a sell. It's just been stuck in this range for, like I said, 9 months.
Stock is stuck in a range for 9 months, so hold rating coming in on Jubilant Foodworks. But we have Thomas George, who has written to us from Cochin, and we already discussed Triveni Turbine, but he says that he wants to switch over from Praj Industries to Triveni Turbine, and he's holding 100 shares of both of these. He hasn't mentioned his time frame, but let's consider it as a long-term question. And Shahina, what will your answer be to this particular query? Praj Industries versus Triveni Turbine.
See, if you see Triveni turbines, it's seen a sharp up move now. Basically, it is looking like it will do better if you compare Praj and Triveni. Basically, if you saw the even fourth quarter numbers, the numbers were reasonable, I would say. So between the two, yeah, you could go in for a Triveni. I think the sugar and engineering, both parts of it should do better going forward with sugar prices stabilizing. So I would say yes, it's a Triveni could be a bet. You could buy it with a medium to longer term investment profile.
Next query coming in from cement sector. Rashmi from Jaipur is asking about ACC. She has invested at the price of 2650. She is having 100 quantities, so currently in loss. What should she do, Hemen? Your technical checks first.
Firstly, the whole 2650 isn't coming in a hurry. She'll have to be patient. 1784, I wouldn't normally say this make or break level, but 1784 is a very important level. It's been tested twice in the past 4 months. This time around, that breaks. I mean, she needs to exit and book a loss. Having said that, I think a base formation is in place. 1950, 2010, and 2103 resistance levels on the upside. They slowly need to get taken out. Very deep correction. I believe worst is almost getting past us. This is based on the premise that 1784 holds. So, like I said, recovery is on the cards. The levels the investor can keep in mind.
Cement sector, Shahina, particularly on ACC, do you think she should stay on?
Well, yeah, actually, we saw fourth quarter numbers. We did see a dip in terms of revenues. Profits also just marginally higher. But at the same time, in terms of valuation, it's about 10 times EV by EBITDA current year, which is not expensive. So I would say she can continue to hold at current levels.
Okay, so can continue to hold at current levels. That's the word coming in on ACC. But apart from ACC, we also have Munon Singha, who has written to us from Silchar, and she's asking if it is the right time to make entry for HCL Technologies. From the IT sector, we did talk about persistent systems, but HCL Tech, Hemen, what will your view be on this stock?
I am not very gung ho on IT, at least from a medium term point of view. Maybe longer term point of view, things are not that bad. But we walked into a deeper correction. The Nifty IT index collapsed 16,000 points. Now we are in the recovery phase, but this is a recovery, not a rally. So I would say, and HCL Tech declined from 2,000 to 1,300. We are at 1,700. So frankly speaking, it's a midway, a 50% retracement of the fall. I would say a buy on decline makes more sense. Closer to 1,400 would mean closer to supports and less to lose. So currently, I'm not sure if it's a buy. On declines, yes, it makes sense.
Right. Next query is for Asian Paints from Pankaj, who's posting query from Haryana. Har Ghar Kuch Kehta Hai query is there. We have seen a lot of ad in paint sector and there is a lot of competition as well. What would you advise on Asian Paints holding 100 share at 3050? Shaina?
See, over the last 1 year, we did see the stock correct quite a bit. But at the same time, even now, the numbers have been pretty disappointing. And I would say that it is better to look for some other sector versus paints, because the competition over the next 2 to 3 years is becoming extremely intensive, with large players coming in, and they would gain some market share. While raw material costs should come off because of lower crude oil prices, at the same time, I think the sector overall is an avoid for now.
Okay, so that's the word on Asian Paints. The stock currently at 2,300. But Shahina and Heymen, thank you so much for taking your time out and joining us here on ET Now and addressing all the stock-related queries that were sent by our viewers. But that's all the time we have on this edition of the show. Don't go anywhere. Markets at noon will take all the market action forward. Stay tuned.
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ, डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई